I was saying to somebody recently that when I look at my current prayer life and what my prayer life was coming from, it is a laugh, and I mean a big laugh, to see the change that has happened in a few months, or a few years. It's such a difference, because I have chosen and I have made a conscious effort to be consistent and to pay attention to certain things. I was reading well, I got a word from the Lord a few months ago to read the book of Nehemiah, and I remember asking God, before I started reading Nehemiah, like, I've read Nehemiah so many times. What exactly is it that I am going to see in Nehemiah that I've never seen before? And I read Nehemiah for a couple of days, but I wasn't getting anything. I didn't know. I wasn't getting anything from it. And I remember one Tuesday, I sat in my house and the Lord spoke to me again and said, go read Nehemiah, the entire book of Nehemiah. And I sat down and read it, and I read through. And as I was reading, I was making notes. And do you know that there was something in it that I didn't see before that I saw on that day? Because God works like that. You can be doing something for years and not getting any progress, and you just wake up one day and God said, today is the day when you are going to get your deliverance. Today is the day when things are going to change. So you have to maintain consistency. Joseph, after all the turbulence and the issues that he went through, Joseph could have gotten to a place where he said, you know what, I am not doing this. I can't bother with this no more. This is way too much. I was sold, I was accused, I was imprisoned for what? I don't see where this is going. I don't see where this is taking me. But he didn't. He kept going, right? And within a few years, Joseph was able to become the ruler of Egypt. Pharaoh made Joseph the prime minister over all of Egypt, right? And that's a huge responsibility from someone that was once a slave, once imprisoned, to know the prime minister of Egypt, right? So there's a song that we love to sing, an old song that says, when God get ready, you have to move. Yeah. When God gets ready to do what he is going to do, nobody can stop it. And it doesn't, what I want you guys to do too, don't sit down and compare yourself to anybody, because comparison is the thief of joy. I'm telling you, to sit and compare yourself to other people is going to leave you in a hole all the time, right? There was a time when I used to compare myself to, like, other schoolmates, persons who I would have gone to school with. And when I look at them, they probably buy a house, they're married, and they have a car. And when I look at myself, I don't see all of those things. But you know what I've come to realize? Substance is not a car. Substance is not money. Substance is not a house. Substance is not riches. Value and substance is not quantified or qualified in that way. And so you will look at somebody driving the most expensive vehicle, but they're hollow, they're shallow, they have nothing in here. And when they look at you, they are actually coveting what you have, while you sitting in your place coveting what they have and wanting to be them, right? So, and I've recently come to realize too that how I see myself, or how we see ourselves, is not how the enemy sees us. Because a lot of times we're saying we're not progressing spiritually, and we're saying we're weak. But the enemy is sitting on the sidelines, looking at your discipline, looking at your consistency, and saying, I have to kill that discipline. I have to kill that consistency. Because if I don't, pretty much, or pretty soon, I will not be able to control this life. And that's what he wants. He wants to be able to control your life. But if you can get to a place of consistency, if you can get to a place of discipline, trust me, when the devil looks at you and wants to try, he's going to think twice about doing it, because he knows that he's playing with fire. But if you stay weak and puny and always crying every single day and not fighting, trust me, he's going to live on you. He's not going to let up, because to him, you're weak. What does a bully play on. A bully plays on weakness. Anytime a bully realizes that the individual that they're toying with is not as weak as they think they are, that's where all the problems end. Because they're not going to mess with you because they're like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen. Perhaps they're not as weak as I thought they were, so I'm going to leave them alone. It's the same thing with the devil. If he thinks you're weaky, and every time he hits you with something, all you do is cry, he's going to hit you all the time because he can manage you. But if every time he hits you, you go to God, and if every time he hits you, you get up and you brush off, and even though it's rough, you still keep going, he's going to see that you are a force to be reckoned with, and he's going to think twice about coming in your direction. And I can guarantee you that. Doesn't mean he's not going to come, because he's barefaced and he's going to come back. But he may think twice, or he may not come as often, because he realized that when he comes, there is a fight to be had. But if he realizes there is no fight to be had, then he's just going to keep coming nonstop. Stacey, I understand that. But one of the things that I have also learned to do, and I think it's something that all of us have to learn to do, is not show your emotions all the time. And let me explain. Not showing your emotions does not mean that you are going to butter things up and not deal with what you are feeling. But sometimes, even when all hell has broken loose and you want ball, don't ball. I'm telling you, don't allow the enemy to see your tears, because if he sees it, he's gonna prey on the weakness. Do you know how many times things were breaking loose? Every side me turn is like nothing is working for me. Every put me and how is like it's just chaos completely. And I had to get to a place where even some of the prayers that I pray, I do not pray them out loud. I don't pray them out loud, because one of the things the enemy cannot do is he cannot read your mind. He can put thoughts into your mind, but he cannot read your mind. So there are some things that even when you pray, you don't say it out loud. You groan in your spirit and you say it in your mind, because what you need to say to God, you don't have to say it out loud for him to hear it. Because he can read your mind, he can read your thoughts. Right? And I know it's rough. I take it from a professional crier. I call myself a professional crier because me bad for everything. When I say everything, I do mean everything. I cry a lot because it's a self-care method, and it's a reliever. I find that when I cry, it calms me and just puts me in a place where I'm able to think rationally. Right? And I find that works for me. You know what I realize God has used that to do is he has used it to be my reliever. And so most times, especially when I'm in a place where my emotions are running wild, you see, when I go to pray, by the time I'm done praying, my whole face is wet, and everything else is just done because I cried a whole prayer, and by the time I'm done, I feel ready again to keep moving because I am relieved. And so I want to encourage you guys to do that too. Go before God when you're broken, when your emotions are running wild, when you don't feel like you can get any sort of relief because everything is just going haywire. Just go sit before God, and sitting before him does not mean kneeling. It doesn't mean that you're gonna go and dress it up. Just go sit before him and be like, God, I know I should be this way today, but I'm not. And right now, the place that I'm at, if you don't help me, things are just gonna fall off. Just talk to him like that. Get to a place where you can talk to God in a certain way. I tell people all the time, God doesn't require you to speak to him in standard English. He doesn't require you to put your grammar properly. He doesn't require you to dot your I's and cross your T's. No, he doesn't need any of that. Psalm 51 says, a broken spirit and a contrite heart he will not despise. That means when you go to him broken and ready for him to work on you, is the best place you could ever be in. Right? And when you go to God like that, trust me, you're not going to leave the same way that you came. I can tell you that much. And that's something that I have proven over and over again for myself. All right. So when we talk about consistency, let me put it in the chat. When we talk about consistency, I use this acronym that I use to define consistency or to look at consistency. And this is the acronym. So the C is for commitment, the A is for action, E is for effort, and non-stop. With C is for the second C, and endurance. Right? So when you look at consistency, that's exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about the cadence of being committed to action, effort, continuously, or non-stop, because continuity is also non-stop, and making sure that you're enduring. The word of God says, the race is not for the swift, neither is the battle for the strong, but those who endure to the end, the same shall be saved. Don't be intimidated by people who look as if they are further along the way than you.